All right, so how good is Windows Defender in 2025? Here we have over 2,000 brand new malware collected from the wild west of the internet. These are latest threats from various open source threat intel that have been reported by users. They have not really been classified, but we are going to run them on this test system and we're going to see if Windows Defender can protect us and what ultimately happens here. Because we want to see the realistic base level of protection everybody has who's running the latest version of Windows. In order to do this, as usual, we have our automation script, malx, and we're going to run all of this from the network location. It's a similar attack vector to what ransomware would use, and it should give us a good idea of the defensive capabilities of Microsoft. The detection rate is 100%, but of course this is only the beginning. We'll see what happens to that number as the test continues and as more and more files are executed. If you're on the side of Windows Defender, you're hoping for a boring test. But if the history of this channel says something, it is that something completely crazy and unexpected is going to happen. So if you're hoping for entertainment, the odds are in your favor. Let's see what happens. Uh-oh. Looks like we have our first real problems here. So something is being downloaded in the background through system 32. That can't be good. And then we have Unicorn that seems to have messed up our screen. The detection rate has fallen to 92%, which is considerably lower than where we started. But let's see if anything else happens. I mean, this thing has kind of gotten stuck on our screen, but maybe we can get rid of it. No? Unicorn doesn't really want to go. Maybe Task Manager can help. Now the only challenge is knowing which one is it. Maybe this one. Nope. Okay, so that didn't do it. And now our computer is starting to freeze up. Not ideal. Some ransomware detections popping up. Let's hope no files were encrypted in the meantime. Our pictures look good so far. Wouldn't want to miss our Jurassic Park screenshots. Now this does look like an old school virus. It's giving us names of different EXEs that maybe it's creating or something. It's like a second test window. We've only made it to about 484 files, which is a quarter of the test. And our system is kind of struggling at the moment to deal with all the malware that's executing. This is by virtue of the number of missed samples going up. So we have a lot of malware process potentially running. And I think this one that's running in the background that's creating multiple viruses could be trying to completely disrupt the system and stop it from working. So we might have an old school virus that's actually trying to destroy our system here and stop us from working. And quite successfully so, I might add. Oh, black screen now. That can be good. All right, let's try CPR on this patient. Oh, we're back. I was about to send a Control-Alt-Delete, but it looks like this is not very promising, and we're only 22% in. And we're back to a black screen again. I think we might have to cut the test short, I'm afraid, and restart the system, because this does not look like it is going to recover on its own. So I'm going to send a hard reset command, and that should bring us back to somewhat working system, assuming nothing's been bricked. And we are back. So our system did boot up. It's a partial win. Let's try to run Hitman Pro and see what it detects on the system, if there's any surprises. But it's a little bit annoying that our system was kind of rendered inoperable by this one virus potentially running in the background, creating a bunch of copies in the shared folder. I'm going to check it out right now to see what it's actually done. So if we take a look, as you can see, we have a ton of unicorns over here and also an update application. So definitely a lot of malware executing, some Trojans. Oh my God, just look at this long list. This is like a real old school virus. Not sure what this update is, but we're going to find out soon enough. I'm just going to upload it to VirusTotal. So I'm kind of curious to see. Analyzing. And it's got about 56 detections. My God. So definitely no stranger. Microsoft does detect it, even though the file was successfully dropped, and I do see it here. On the system, it looks like we have a malicious temp file. What is concerning though are all these unicorn files. Now, again, I want to check what exactly that is to see if it's just a little bit of mischief or there's more to worry about. We'll see in a minute once the behavior section comes up. But again, Microsoft technically does detect it. And this is what concerns me, is the fact that a lot of the times Microsoft will have signatures for threats that it's going to allow to execute in certain situations or just fail to block it properly. It looks like if we were to execute the sample, it would just do more of the same. So create a bunch of other copies of itself. So overall, the detection rate was not too bad. It was hovering around 92%, which is fairly decent considering these are brand new files. And there might be some false positives in there. On the other hand, the fact that it allowed a virus to take over the computer and shut it down or make it inoperable is concerning, because that could affect a user or business running this environment. And especially concerning is the fact that according to VirusTotal, that file should have been in the signatures. Or maybe this is one of the child files, but maybe the parent wasn't in the signature, the one process that actually made this copy. Good news is there's not a lot of lasting damage, but of course with info stealers, that doesn't really matter if they've managed to send the data out there. So definitely mixed feelings about these results. I think overall Microsoft does do a decent job of detecting things. It's not any worse than other AVs if you just look at the pure signatures, but in terms of how the engine works on the system, the fact that it relies heavily on the cloud, detections are often a bit delayed, and the behavioral protection is kind of non-existent unless you turn on certain things in group policy settings. Some weaknesses that it has, but it has come a long way. Like Microsoft Defender in 2025 is not anything like Microsoft Defender when it first launched in Windows XP. It's got comparable detection to any security solution out there. One of the reasons that most people today don't really use a third-party antivirus, because they're good with Windows Defender, and the base detection should be good because Microsoft has all the telemetry. They can collect data from every single user out there, so they may not be able to stop the very first execution of the malware, but once it's seen, once it's uploaded to the cloud, they should be able to get the signatures in fairly quickly. Let me know your thoughts on these results, and please like and share it. New things happen in every test somehow. I'm waiting for that boring test where we just go through 100% of the test and nothing really happens, but it's always fun. When you're running unknown malware, something's going to go wrong. In this case, it was Unicorn 50796 and its brethren. Hope this was informative and fun. Do like and share this if you enjoyed it. But if you're in an enterprise environment, you might be interested in Zero Trust and our sponsor in a moment. Now, an interesting approach to cybersecurity is the idea of Zero Trust or default deny, which is used by the sponsor of this video, ThreatLocker. So for example, if I'm to try to execute a ransomware on the system, just quick rename and execute, it is not going to work because ThreatLocker is just going to block it and then only allow us to request access. And even if we do request access, we have a dedicated response center to deal with it. So now we see the file that we've submitted, and we can run it in a test environment to see if it's a legitimate file or ransomware. This is like a full virtual machine or malware analysis environment of sorts. And of course, when we run it, we see the ransomware has encrypted all our files, so definitely not doing this on the real system. Now, adding this layer of defense via default deny is a really useful thing for enterprises to prevent them from running untrusted software. Now, they also have the ability to detect threats based on behavior. So for example, we've got a backup deletion here. This is using VSS admin, can alert you of suspicious